Welcome back, superstar, to my video, How to Attract Good Luck and Wealth. So before I dive into at least 3 things that you can do to attract good luck and wealth, I want to set the stage with some background. First of all, obviously want to discuss what the foundations of good luck and wealth even are. And the answer to that might surprise you. And then I'm going to look at what gets in the way of doing so. Finally, I'm going to share with you my strategies as well as a few practices that I use on a regular basis that have honestly completely transformed my access to fortune and financial freedom and success. All right, let's go. Now, just to give you a little bit of context around this topic, I do want to share with you that if you had told me 5 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago, that I would be talking about luck as if it was something that you could cultivate and create, I would have told you you were crazy. And that's because 5, 10, 15 years ago, most of my life, I had a belief that everything followed a logical, rational path. And I didn't understand or even believe in the concept of the law of attraction or quantum physics or spirituality. I didn't give any of these things credence or credibility. Now, I bring that up to you now because as someone who is a die-hard skeptic, I have personally changed my opinion 180 degrees. I completely believe that you can create fortune. I completely believe that you can attract wealth and opportunities solely, and well, maybe not solely, but primarily by focusing on your internal state, your internal emotions and alignment. And then from that place, putting that out into the world, things will naturally shift, change, and good fortune will find you. My foundational principle, my mantra that my clients know very well, maybe you've heard me say before, is energy precedes outcomes. Where that comes from, it comes from a lot of different things, a lot of different traditions, but specifically in my life, I learned it from a spiritual mentor named Nani Leah Diamond. I've mentioned her a lot, and I've done a lot of work with her, and her famous line is, "The energy from which we create guides and determines the energy of what we create," which means that when we create from an energy of love, feeling lucky, fortune, abundance, wealth, then we're just going to create more of that in our lives. The problem and the challenge that most people face and that I faced is that we want to create wealth from the energetic of scarcity. What does that mean? It means that we are uncomfortable, disappointed, or frustrated with the amount of money or good luck that we have. And so we focus on that frustration as we are trying to create something different. So if we have frustration, annoyance, scarcity as a baseline, but we're trying to build wealth and good fortune, these things are mismatched. It's not a resonant match. It's just like an angry person trying to create love in their life. It's just like a sad and miserable person trying to create joy. The problem is that most of the time, we're trying to create these things outside of us. But what we don't understand, and what quantum physics and most spiritual traditions say, is that life is a mirror. What's happening outside of us is a reflection of what's happening inside of us. That truly our perspective is what determines our life. So if we are looking at the world through the lens of scarcity, hate, anger, whatever that quote unquote negative emotion is, we're going to be seeing more of that in the world around us. We're going to be, if we're looking for that, if we're attuned to those frequencies, that's what we're going to see, that's what we're going to create, that's what we're going to attract. Now, without diving deeply into the concepts of quantum physics, I do want to share that what we're talking about here is becoming a resonant match with that which we are trying to create. Now, by the way, if you do want to go deeper into this, I'll take this opportunity to pause this video, say, hey, by the way, like and subscribe to my channel. And also take a look at some of the videos I did about the law of attraction, where I do talk about some quantum physics and I do get into the more scientific postulates around this concept that I'm sharing with you. But if you want to just skip all that and get to the good stuff, then stay here on this video and stick with me. So there are at least 3, and I might end up with 4, things that you can do to become a resonant match to higher vibe things, so that you can, instead of running the energy of scarcity and trying to create abundance, how can you run the energy of abundance so that you can generate more abundance, more wealth? How can you have good luck, good vibes, so that you can attract more luck and good opportunities and fortune, right? So the first thing is a technique, or is a practice, or a strategy even, that I call alchemy. Now, I didn't come up with this. You may know that in the old days, hundreds of years ago, the term alchemy was used to talk about trying to turn lead, or something not very valuable, into gold, something very valuable. So the idea of alchemy was this process by which lead could turn into gold. Now, from what I understand, nobody ever figured it out, but many philosophers and scientists from back in the day did try. Today, we use the term alchemy in spiritual practices to talk about turning wounds and negative experiences and negative emotions into positive experiences and positive emotions. It's kind of like turning crap into manure to fertilize something, right? It's kind of a similar concept. So whatever pain you've experienced in your life is actually fuel that can become something positive, but only when you alchemize it. So of course that begs the question, how do you alchemize pain and wounding into something beautiful, into something positive? Well, you do it through this process of alchemy, which means to feel the feelings of pain and wounding fully, to absolutely go all the way into that pain and let it move through you, sometimes even with an expression like a scream or a sound or a wail or a cry, but really letting those feelings move through you and then see what's on the other side of that. One of the problems in our culture and the reasons that people don't have good fortune and wealth and good luck is because all their negative emotions get stuck and trapped. If you were, for example, a little kid who wasn't allowed to express, wasn't allowed to cry or be angry, and people told you, don't do that, don't cry, don't be angry, then you learn to swallow your emotions and you don't have as much access to free-flowing energy. So alchemy is a way to let that energy through, to let it move and to liberate it so that it can turn from stuck, bound energy into free, flowing and moving energy. Now, when we do that, we naturally open up new channels of creativity, new channels of compassion, of love, of forgiveness. Naturally, what happens when we let all that move through is that we move that energy, that dark energy out, and light can come in. And so that's step 1. That's the first thing you can do, is start to actually feel your feelings fully, let them move through, and then see what comes through on the other side of that. The second thing you can do in conjunction with alchemy, not instead of, but in addition to, is to start to cultivate positive emotions. Cultivate the emotions of what you want to experience. So in other words, instead of waiting for something outside of you, like for you to get more money to feel abundant, how about cultivating the feelings of abundance inside of you? How do you do that? Well, I would recommend coming up with 3 or 4 emotions that you believe are associated with abundance. I'll give you a few of my own. For me, abundance is about feeling generous. It's about feeling appreciative. It's about feeling loving and grateful. So when I want to cultivate more abundance in my life, what I do is I practice the feelings of abundance. I practice the feelings of generosity and appreciation and love and gratitude. And I cultivate those experiences. I actually practice them. I remember back in the day when I first started doing this work, I didn't actually know how to feel grateful, how to feel appreciation. I had to hang appreciation on something outside of me, like, oh, I'm grateful that I have a roof over my head, or I'm grateful that I have enough money in the bank, or I'm grateful that I have a car that works, right? So I had to start by focusing on things and experiences that I was grateful for. But over time, I was able to start to really feel, just be able to tap into a feeling of appreciation. It takes a little bit of practice. But if you can cultivate the feelings that are associated with wealth and good fortune, and you run that energy through your system, you will automatically start to attract more wealth and good fortune. I promise. Now, the third thing you can do, and this is one of my favorite strategies, and this is the one I'm going to leave you with, is you can create meditations and visualizations for yourself. You can record them and then play them back to yourself at night, in the morning, play it when you're sleeping, but basically create recordings of meditations that help you cultivate those emotions. So I do this for my clients. I do this for myself all the time. I say, all right, what is it that you're trying to create? Like we did with abundance earlier, or let's say we want to create more good luck. We'll say, okay, so what are some of the emotions associated with good luck? Well, appreciation. If you win the lottery, you're going to be grateful. So create a visualization or a meditation where you imagine winning the lottery. Dr. Joe Dispenza has many books about this, and he talks about this, that your brain cannot distinguish between an imaginary event that creates an emotion and a real event that creates an emotion. So you might as well just imagine winning the lottery again and again so you can cultivate the emotion of good luck and gratitude. So if you can practice those emotions by doing these meditations and visualizations on a daily basis, I guarantee you, post below, let me know how this goes, that you will start to experience more good luck, more wealth, more fortune in your life. You can thank me later. If you're looking to incorporate some of these strategies into your business, into your coaching, consulting, or speaking business, let's connect. You can connect with me at superstaractivator.com/go.